Hello, my name is Peter Milton and I am the developer of TimeChainage. This video is part of a series where I'll show you some of the more common features of TimeChainage, and today we will look at filters. Filters are an essential element of layouts and reports and can be very helpful when developing a schedule and when adding progress. As with all features in TimeChainage, we designed the filters to be as easy and convenient to use as possible. Filter controls are found in various forms, and in this video we will look at all of them. So let's get started. I have a project open in TimeChainage which we can use for this tutorial. If you just want some basic filtering done quickly, there are three options available right here in the main form. These quick filters are specifically to show planned activities, actual activities, or just the critical path. For the planned and actual filters, just check the ones you want to show. So having just the planned box checked, only planned tasks will show, and if we only have the actual box checked, only actual tasks will show. Checking both boxes will show both planned and actual tasks. The critical path filter shows just the critical path activities. You must have the planned filter checked for this to work. The planned and actual forms also have filters available, and these are a little bit more sophisticated. Let's open up the plan form by using the button on the toolbar. On a large schedule, you may want to limit the activities visible in the table to just the section you are working on. We can do this using the filters located in the toolbar. There are filters for the WBS, all three activity codes, and the WBS code. For example, clicking on the WBS selection box, a drop-down list of the WBS values appears, and you can select which value you want to show. Let's filter for drive A to B tasks. As you can see, just tasks with a value of drive A to B are shown. We will put this filter back to show all, and now select from the activity code 1 filter. This time we will select for the tunneling gang. Now only the tasks that use the tunneling gang are shown. We can combine filters, so if I leave this filter on and open the WBS code filter box, I will select temporary works. Now only the temporary works undertaken by the tunneling gang are shown. Let's leave the planned form and open the actuals form. The actuals form has the same set of filters as the planned form. Let's use the WBS filter to show only tunnel drive A to B, and activity code 2 filter, which is ground type, to filter for sections of the drive that are only through clay. Both filters have to be true for an activity to show. So these are activities that are both tunnel drive A to B and in clay. Let's exit the actuals form by clicking on the close button in the toolbar. We will now look at filtering for the TimeChainage chart. Here we have the most comprehensive set of filters available in TimeChainage, and probably the most useful for the majority of users. We use the chart filters when we want to see specific sections or types of work, and so filters are used a lot in layouts. Let's see how chart filters work. To create or activate a filter, we go to the Filters dialog. To get there, we go to the Format menu and select Filters. Here we can create new filters and activate existing ones. As in the planned and actual forms, we can create filters from the work breakdown structure, the WBS code, and from the three activity codes. However, we are not limited to just one value from each code. Let's take a look at the interface first. This dialog is split into sections for each type of code, plus one for the critical path. In each of the code sections there is a tick box to apply a filter, a drop-down selection box for any saved filters, and buttons for adding, editing and deleting a filter. To use an existing filter, we choose one from the drop-down selection box and make sure the Apply filter is ticked. As an example, let's open the WBS selection box and choose Drive A to B. When you select a filter this way, the checkbox will get a tick automatically. We now have the options to edit or delete this filter. Let's open the Edit dialog by clicking on the Edit button. Here we have a table of the work breakdown structure, and for each value we can choose to show or hide planned activities and actual activities. To show or hide a value, we just click on the Show fields and it will swap between yes and no. If you have a long list of items, the selection process can be speeded up by first pressing the Show All or Show None buttons, and then going to the table to show or hide values. The new WBS values section allows you to decide what to do with any new WBS values that get created after the filter is saved. Finally, you can of course rename the filter if you wish to. We will click on the Cancel button as we do not want to make any changes. To delete a filter, you select the filter you want to remove and then press the Delete button. We will leave the filter dialog by pressing the OK button. The chart now just shows Drive A to B, showing both the planned and actual progress. I have the auto range control turned on, so the chart time and distance ranges have adjusted automatically to the filtered tasks. We will return to the filter dialog to add a new filter. We go to the Format menu and select Filters. Let's add a new WBS code filter by clicking on the New button in the WBS code section. We will create a filter to show all of the shaft works. So first we will name the filter Shaft Works. Next we will click on the Show None button and select Hide by Default. In the table we will show shaft sinking and shaft finishings by clicking in the Show fields. We will press OK and check the Apply filter button. We will make sure no other filters are checked and then press the OK button to leave the dialog. As you can see, only the shaft works are shown. One final thing is that you can always use the chart quick filters in the toolbar for planned, actual and critical tasks in conjunction with the 4 filters. You can also select the critical path filter from within the filter dialog. The final places in TimeChainage where you will find filters are in the built-in reports, so let's take a quick look at them. From the Reports menu, we will select each report in turn, starting with a Progress versus Time report. This report shows progress against time data, and it has been formatted ready to create histograms and S-curves in Microsoft Excel. In the Data Selection section on the right-hand side, we can select which WBS code and activity code values we want to use. In each code you can select multiple values. Let's look at the WBS to start with. Let's select all the shaft sinking values. We will click on the Show None button first, then select just the sink shaft values. All activities with a sink shaft code will be shown. Let's click OK. We could, if we wanted, select values from the activity codes as well to further refine the selection. In the Date Range section, we can set a specific date range if we wish. By default though, TimeChainage will cover a range that includes all of the filtered activities. In the Show Progress section, we can include planned tasks, actual tasks, and any of the baselines we may have created. We can also show a trend field. In the Show User Defined section, we can show the user defined fields provided they are number fields and not text. The 2 user defined fields are set in the project form and are used with planned activities. This can be a useful option if you are showing costs in your schedule, then you can create a cost profile. We can also show period or cumulative data. You would use period data for histograms and cumulative data for S-curves. By default, TimeChainage shows daily data, but you can change that in the frequency section to weekly or monthly. Lastly, you can show or ignore zero duration tasks in the Omit Tasks section. These are horizontal planned lines which are typically used as milestones or date lines and therefore would not be wanted in the calculations. Zero duration tasks are omitted by default. We will exit this report and look at the next one. Progress versus Chainage. There will be separate videos on the built-in reports, so I won't go into what you are seeing here today. We will just look at the filters. You can filter for WBS, WBS code and activity codes by selecting which values you want to show. Let's go to the WBS option. We will click on the Show None button and then from the table select Drive A to B. We'll click OK to leave the dialog. We make sure we have the Apply box ticked. This filter will apply to both planned and actual tasks. We will leave this report and we'll go to the Average Progress versus Chainage report. Here we have the same code filters as in the previous report. In addition, you can include or exclude non-productive tasks. We'll now move on to the last report we're filtering, which is the Project Statistics report. In the Project Overview section, we can select a specific date range or accept the default which covers the full project. In the General Options section, we can select Planned Tasks or one of the baselines if we have any. We can filter out tasks with zero duration or zero length, as such activities could skew the results. Finally, there are filters for the data selection area. Here we can select individual values for any of the codes. Let's close the report. The filters in TimeChainage are an important feature and have been designed to be as easy to use as possible. You will find the ability to filter very handy, especially when creating layouts, so make sure you are fully conversant with the various filters on offer. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for watching and I hope you found this video helpful. TimeChainage, adding an extra dimension to your schedules.